right, what is up, guys? Whoa, welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. My name is Jim. Everyone's having a good Friday. Stream's a little early today, but I decided some things came out for later tonight, so I thought rather than not stream, I would just pop on early and we can kind of get going early and do a happy hour stream. So I got a drink. My friend left these drinks at my house. Let me just get the music going for a sec. Let's listen to some house music because it is Friday. And we want to obviously rock it out. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. Give me a hello in chat if you guys are with me, friends and partners. We'll notice a few small changes to the site as well. Oh. Let's see here. How's the music levels? There we go. Hopefully it's not too loud. All right, yeah, so gonna stream early today. Probably gonna stream till about 5 o'clock, so figure about 2 hours with you guys. We want to talk chapter approved today. Gonna go over some of my thoughts on the rules changes. Also gonna be working on my Eldar. Thankfully, I have finished the Orc Dreadnoughts that I was working on yesterday. I finished this morning, so I'll show you guys those really quick. So these are the two Orky Dreadnoughts. I finished as part of a commission, and basically I just have some killer cans to do. So 6 killer cans. I'll be starting those probably this weekend, and hopefully try to finish them by midweek next week. The commission's done, and then I'm fully clear of commission, so I'm excited to be done that. And then it's going to be just painting cool stuff that I enjoy, so I'm excited for that as well. And if you guys ever want to see like specific things painted, let me know. Always curious to see what you guys want to do. So I'm drinking. Oh yeah, so back to what I was drinking. I got some cool channel updates for you guys. Let me see here. Some cool channel updates for you guys. Which I want to talk about a little bit first, and then we'll get into kind of painting. So first of all, you'll notice the slight, hey Butters, how's it going? You'll notice a slight rebrand. Well, it's not a rebrand, so to speak. It's just some cleanup on the branding. So my Twitch channel, and for those of you that are, oh, whoa, the webcam, really weird, like pixelated. That's weird. My shirt doesn't look like that for sure. I changed some of my settings on the webcam, so it's like my shirt looks really pixelated. It doesn't actually look like that, but then my face looks clear. That's really weird. Huh, I don't know what that's going on there. I'll have to figure it out. You know what I think it is? Let me just adjust this really quick, guys. Video. Output. I don't know. I don't think I can fix it right now because I'm live right now. That's right. Okay, I'll fix it later. But anyways, it's really weird. I'm gonna switch it back to the other camera because it's making me feel weird that everything is so grainy there. So I've rebranded the Twitch channel. I used to go as Duplicity Paint. It's now Duplicity Studio to be more in line with my Instagram, also Duplicity Studio, and my Facebook is Duplicity. Sorry, my YouTube is Duplicity Paint Studio still, but I'm working on fixing that to Duplicity Studio, just so all the different, I guess, sites are the same. I've also updated the link tree, guys, in the Discord. So the Discord link is now in the link tree. So if you guys want to join the Discord, Duplicity Paint Discord, feel free to join that down below. It's mostly just like hobby stuff and some announcements and stuff, but I'd like to kind of get it a little bit more lively. I'd love it if you guys want to post hobby things or rules questions or topics you guys want to see on the show, guests you want to see on the show, and I'll get to that later. I also have some plans to announce. Probably next week I'll announce it as far as like direction of the channel, but some of the shows will be returning soon. So I know there's been lots of fervor on politics and plastic. What's been going on with that? That's going to be coming back in the next few weeks. I'm going to start having more guests on. So the last like 2 months, it's been just basically me by myself, painting and hobbying with you guys. But starting in a few weeks, we're going to have some guests on. And I'm going to have, so one of the things we're doing today is kind of like a Friday happy hour. And moving forward, we're going to be doing, one of the segments is going to be Friday happy hour. So 3 to 5 Fridays Pacific. We're going to be doing a Friday happy hour with a guest. This is kind of starting, I might even try to get it starting next week. But the idea with Friday happy hour is exactly how it sounds. It's going to be me and a guest with a drink and painting and hobbying and chatting. And for this, I really want to bring on a super wide variety of guests. So traditionally, my guests have been like, they've been like, you know, people that are more prominent in the hobby community, like maybe podcasters. But for this, I actually want it to be like a really like community driven a program where like anyone can come on the show. And so, and we just kind of hang out and I get to meet cool people that I've maybe never interacted with. So what I'm going to be doing, guys, make sure to join the Discord. But one of the things I'm going to be doing is if you're interested in coming on the hobby happy hour on Fridays, I'll make a little channel in the Discord and you can basically just throw your name in and say, hey, I'd love to come on. And basically me and you, and maybe if there's other people, we'll have like a little bit of a group stream and we'll do some painting and we'll have a drink and we'll kind of just chat and we'll just hang out. And so that's going to be kind of the fun part of the show. And I'm hoping to make that a weekly thing. And I'm hoping there's people that are going to be interested in coming on. So if you guys are interested in coming on and hang out, you guys don't even have to really paint if you don't want to. I don't have a bot, Shadow Sun, so I don't know how that works. But I'm pretty sure. Here, I'll post the Discord link in. If you go to the, let's see, there's a link tree. So if you go, if you go to the link tree on the About page on Twitch, there's the link there. There is a Discord invite on there. I think it's the first one, but I'm gonna paste it into chat. One sec for you. Okay, where is it? Copy link. There it is. So anyone that's interested in joining the Discord, feel free to join. But yeah, what I want to do is look, the reality is, guys, after the new year, or after like December, when I kind of went on hiatus a little bit, I was really burnt out. I was doing 3 to 5 shows a week, between streaming and then also the podcast took a lot of effort and energy to organize. And also with the holidays and everything, like I've been kind of out of the game a little bit, like, and I think I've talked about that quite a bit, where I haven't been super active in competitive 40K. And so I felt like I didn't have a ton to talk about. So having competitive corner with Alex McDougall, my co-host, didn't make sense. I wasn't really playing at all. I just sold off my armies. And politics and plastic, I mean, there wasn't much happening there, because again, I was kind of running out of like the big things that I wanted to talk about. And then with Best Overall Show, David Koska, my co-host, he got super busy. He had to move. So like all 3 of the shows kind of ran into some like fundamental issues as far as like why I didn't continue doing the shows. But I'd like to kind of bring some of those back, because that's the kind of content I like to do. As much as I love the hobby streams, it is lonely. And I like hanging out with you guys. Last night actually was a really fun stream. So everyone that tuned in last night, thank you so much. But we had a really good time. And I kind of, you know, for me, the streams, the solo streams have always been like kind of my decompression time, where I can kind of rant about this, that, and the other thing. So it was nice to kind of have that opportunity yesterday. But definitely, I definitely feel like I want more community interaction and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys are interested in joining that. And I will be putting up some polls and stuff for future topics for politics and plastic. But you guys can submit. So what are we working on today? So I think I mentioned earlier, I finished the 2 Orc Dreadnoughts on stream. You can check out the pictures on my Instagram, my personal Instagram, JimboV_paints. They're posted there. I will post better pictures when the whole commission is done with my actual nice camera, which is this one. But it's just a pain to pull down just for quick pictures. So I usually just do them with my cell phone. I will do some nicer photos before I send it off to the client. And then basically right now I'm going to work on this Eldar Farseer that we did on stream. And we did the blade on stream. So for those of you that weren't here, I think it was Wednesday's stream. We kind of did a power sword / blade experiment. So I painted this initial, and again, for those of you that were here on all those streams, bear with me while I kind of review why we did it and what had happened. So on our initial Eldar stream, we painted this Eldar Farseer for my new Eldar army, which is what I'm working on. That's what I'm going to be playing competitively, and obviously we'll talk lots about that. But I wasn't happy with the blade. So then on Wednesday's stream, I had some different ideas for like blade designs. And so one was to kind of do more traditional power sword style. So where it's kind of got the hot spots, the white spots, which is this version. And we did that on stream. And I kind of showed everyone how to do that on stream pretty quickly. And then I also did another version of that blade, which is this version, which is kind of like the inner glow outwards, where it's cool on the outside and glowing from the inside. And I think unanimously everyone liked this pattern a bit more, including myself. Although I do like this version, like I like the look of it. I don't think for the Eldar it makes sense, because I want more of that like inner to outer glow. So what that means is we're gonna go with this version of the blade for the rest of the army. And what I'm gonna do today is I want to kind of start working on this guy and getting him closer to finish, because this is my first Farseer for the army. And I also want to finish the blade completely, because the version that we did, this is like kind of I'd say this is like 95% done, but I just want to clean up some of the blends and then some of the hot spots as well. So I think that's actually the first thing I'm going to start on, because as you can see from the back of it, it looks really silly when it's not done. So we're going to start on that first. And for that, I'm going to need a few colors. Thanks, Jonathan. Is it ZH? Is that Shadow? Zato? Hato? I don't even know. All right, so doesn't matter. So for the colors for our blade are going to be these guys here, basically. So Pro Acryl is my go-to for those of you guys that know. And then I got a little bit of, okay, got it. And then Galvaback Red, which is a good Games Workshop color. I love Pro Acryl paints, and I can't gush about them enough. They're, having painted for almost 20 years, by far the best miniature paints I've ever used. Great finish, great consistency, colors are good, coverage is good. They got, I mean, these are some older bottles, but you get a lot of paint for a good price and stuff. The only downside with the Pro Acryls is they have the range is not massive, which I don't think is like, it's not like they have not very many colors. They have a lot of colors. Like I'll show you guys, you guys can see right here. I'll do a little camera twist. Whoa. No, that's probably not a good idea. So there is the my painting rack with all my Pro Acryls. So that's all the Pro Acryls there are, right? I have the entire set. They are going to be coming out with some new paints though. That was a little bit intense. They are going to be coming out with some new paints though. There's like another expansion set coming out for colors. So I'm less worried about their kind of where they're going. Like I definitely feel like they're going to be coming out with lots of colors soon. So I'm not super worried about. So I like the transparents run-in, but I will say they're not like any other. I have the transparents too. They're not like any other wash or transparent color. Like I think some people might think that like transparent means it's like equivalent to like a wash, or it's equivalent to like an ink. They're their kind of own thing. They're very, very heavy. They're very thick. I don't know if you've used them, but I find that they're more almost like inks, like really intense, thick inks than they are transparent. Like transparent is probably not even really a good way to term them, because if you use them straight out of the pot, they're basically opaque. Like this is the transparent yellow, and this is the regular yellow, and it's like they're very, very similar as far as like opacity when using them straight. So the big thing with them is you gotta thin them out, and in that I guess application, I find they're good, but like, yeah, like I got them because I wanted the whole range, right? And I trust I trust the guys at Monument Hobbies to put out some good product. But in that sense, like it's almost like they're kind of like, for what they do, I think using them straight out of the, so let me the best way to put it, using them straight out of the pot is not really viable unless you're going for a super heavy tint. Like if you use, say, transparent purple over, say, silver, you don't really get like metallic purple. You get like purple with like a little bit of metallic showing underneath. Like it's so strong, right? And once you get to the point where you're having to like do a lot of thinning and like of the paint and stuff, I kind of feel like it loses a little bit of its like purpose. Like there's other washes. Like I really love the obviously I think Games Workshop makes some of the best washes. But things like I have the whole set of scale color washes. So I have their intensity colors, these ones here. And I also have a bunch of army painter ones, right? And so in that sense, I feel like, and then also to be honest, like in a lot of cases, I just make my own washes these days with mediums and stuff. So anyway, so that's kind of my point of it. Hey, Hakon, how's it going? Oh yeah, also I was gonna mention, what are we drinking today? So today on Hobby Happy Hour, which is what I'm gonna be calling it, I'm drinking this like mango vodka water. It's 0 carbs, 0 grams of sugar, very healthy for me, and it's non-carbonated. So it basically just looks like water. It's basically vodka juice, vodka water, mango, 5%. So it's like a beer. And the only reason I'm drinking it before you guys make fun of me, it is actually tasty, and it's like it's not too sweet, is because my friends left 5 of them in my fridge from last Friday night. I had people over, and they left 5 in my fridge, so I've been drinking them. So cheers. And I do like them because I don't have a huge sweet tooth, to be honest. And so I like them because they're not too sweet. So if you don't like super sweet stuff, this is the drink for you. All right, there we go. Let's see here. Have I been here before? Hey, the flea, how's it going? I'm not sure. Have you been here? How would you know if you've been here? What would be your like indicator? I've had a lot of people come and go, so if not, welcome. If so, great. Have you seen my pug trooper kill team? I don't know what pug troopers are. Do you, like pugs like the dogs? I don't know what pugs are. Oh my god, I almost just put my brush in my drink. I don't know if you guys know that. So definitely moving my my drink from the brush side where I usually keep it, because I'm right-handed, right? So normally I put my drink here, and I literally almost just put my paintbrush into my drink. So I gotta keep it on the other side. I don't know what pug troopers are, and you won't be able to put links in the chat, my friend. But if you wanna DM me on Twitch, I can throw it in the chat for you, because otherwise I don't want people coming in and dropping dick pics and stuff. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do for this blade is I'm going to kind of go on the outside. Yeah, dude, I haven't drank my paint water, but I've definitely like ruined it with like putting paint in it. Specs in Space, welcome to the stream, man. How are you? Man. Also, yeah, that's true. Okay. Please don't be a dick pic. Here, copy link. Put on the chat. See how it goes. I haven't seen this picture. Oh, they're actually, oh my god. Those are hilarious. What did you sculpt those yourself? I actually painted for a commission Lockjaw from Marvel Crisis Protocol for a client recently this year, and the dog was he wanted it painted like his own dog. So the client sent me like a bunch of photos of his dog, and then I took Lockjaw from my first protocol and like I did some slight conversions on him so he didn't have his like superhero stuff, and then painted him exactly to match his dog. So it was pretty cool. He was super happy. It was like a really fun and cute project. Yeah, thing versus hit or miss, I feel. I'd love to be able to like learn. I don't know if any of you guys know like ZBrush or anything like that, but it's one of the things that like I don't know if I'd want to like I don't know. I'm kind of just talking out of my ass, to be honest. I said I'd want to learn it, but I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys are programmers or do any sort of like computer IT work, or I guess no, not necessarily IT work, but programming. I tried programming, and like as much as I am a computer file in the sense where like I'm very like into like computer stuff and tech. Every time I've tried to learn like or do hey Floor Supers Union, welcome to the stream. Every time I've tried to like teach myself, so I'll give you guys an example. Photoshop and Premiere I never knew how to use, and this year when I started streaming I was like, okay, I'm gonna teach myself how to edit videos and stuff like that, and I did learn. But what I realized is like I don't think I have the type of like temperament that could ever like code or do like programming or like do like heavy editing work, because it's so like monotonous and like I guess I don't enjoy it. It's so like it can be so like I don't know. It just can be really annoying sometimes as far as like how like repetitive it is. I don't know if that makes sense, but after doing like 3 or 4 videos on Photoshop and Premiere and learning how to do it, I was just like, it's such a like, I don't know, there's something about it, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm one of those people that could like I never had the temperament to code. You know, I work or have worked in hospitality as like a development chef and stuff, and so I like to do things with my hands. So the idea of like sitting there kind of and like doing that kind of creative mouse work on the computer, I don't know, it's just something about it that like it just seems really hard for me. Like I feel like I don't have maybe the right temperament. This is the big mistake of doing half the blade one day and then the rest the other day. Now I got to try to match it, and I'm like, I have no idea what colors I use. I could go back and look at the stream. That's what a smart person would do, but who wants to do that, right? I'd much rather just kind of flail a little bit. Yeah, and like I respect that. Like people that can like 3D sculpt and like program or code, because I've done like I've taken some coding classes in university. I took a few I think JavaScript. I took a JavaScript class and like a C++ class once, and like I understood it, but like it just seemed to me, it felt like to me it's like so much like math, right? And it's so much like math thinking, I guess. I don't know, like and don't get me wrong, I'm good at math. Like I actually, like, humble brag, like I won a math award in grade 9, and in grade 12 I got 98% on my math provincial. So I was always good at calculus, good at math, but I just like, I don't know, the idea of like doing it like as part of my job, there's something about it that like, I don't know, I'm not super stoked about. I don't know about you guys. Where like I'm having to think about like equations and like certain things, and knowing all the like syntax. Is that the word they use in coding? The syntax to do like proper proper coding. It just seems like so much. Like my brain hurts thinking about it. I don't know if any of you guys do any coding. But I remember, did any of you guys have really old Macs, like the old Mac 2s in school? We used to have this program, and I don't know if anyone will remember the name of this program. It was called HyperCard. It was like a Mac, like back on like the original like Apple II or whatever. It was this like programming language slash application on Macs, like old school Macs, that you could basically program with, and you could do like animations. It was like super basic, right? And I remember like learning how to do that like really well in elementary school, and doing like a bunch of stuff on like building a bunch of like programs and stuff on HyperCard when I was like really young. That was like the closest I ever came to like enjoying programming, because you can make like movies and like games and stuff with it. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, that's see that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying about why I don't like coding. It's just too much math. I feel like I don't have the attention to detail for it, you know? But maybe I do. Maybe I'm not giving myself a chance. What kind of robotic stuff do you do? Like, do you build death robots to kill people? Or do you build like robot dogs? I'm really interested. I started watching so I know last night's stream we were talking about last night on stream we were talking about animes and like what animes I should watch. And I started watching it. I know Attack on Titan. A lot of people have said that it's a good show, so I started watching it. I watched like the first two episodes. Never really seen it. That shows it's super twisted, man. Like I'm only 2 episodes in, but like kind of fucked the whole storyline. It's pretty brutal. Anyone else watch it? And like, should I continue watching it? Like, is it gonna get good or better? Andrew Tabaji. Andrew, I gotta say, I appreciate every stream you come on and you give me like a top 3 questions. It's like now my new favorite part of the stream is answering your top 3 questions. Last time it was top 3 Eldar Sculpts. Today's top 3 non-Primark characters in the Heresy. Okay, this is gonna be a fairly easy one. I say it's fairly easy. It's probably not that easy. I really like obviously. I won't pick Malkador either, or the Emperor, because technically they're non-Primarchs. I think what was the I guess Garrow would be one. He's pretty sweet. But I think a lot of people would say that. I'm just trying to think who are the really cool characters. Garrow was the Death Guard guy, right? That got like war in the Empire of, or the Imperium of the Heresy. Argyle Tal, he's cool. He gets a little crazy. He's like the first possessed, right? Or the first Galvor back. Argyle Tal, right? Or am I getting it confused? Is that right? Lonely Sandbar? He's the first Galvor back, right? Argyle Tal? Yeah, okay. For those of you who don't know, the Galvor back were basically like the first possessed Chaos Space Marines that were ever made. I really like the new model that they came out with for him. That was really cool. I kind of want to paint him up. I really liked so I'd say from the Emperor's Children, I really liked I think it's Lucius. or Eidolon. I can't remember which is the one that like was the sword fighter. Is that Lucius? And he like wants to challenge everyone. You guys remember if that's Lucius or if that's Eidolon? I can't remember. Obviously, I love Armin. Armin is my boy, right? Did nothing wrong. And I also appreciate, let's see, who else? I mean, obviously Abaddon, you know, he's a homie. But yeah, there's so many little characters, man. It's hard to like think about it. 30k army. I have a 30k army. Eldar. They're around, right? Do you play 30k floor? I'm curious. This side is definitely brighter on the front. Yeah, I don't really like, honestly, I don't like a lot of the loyalists, especially the Imperial Fists. Imperial Fists are really hard to like just because they're so like, they're so like lapdoggy. I do really like is it Ralderon, the Blood Angels guy? Who's the Blood Angels lieutenant? Ralderon? So he's kind of cool. Obviously, my boy Typhon is cool, aka Typhus. I enjoy him. Yeah, Lucius is good. Sigismund, I always felt like he was too like, yeah, I didn't like Sigismund, to be honest. I did like some of the Mournival though. My favorite Primarch though in the Heresy has got to be I really like what's his name? Why can't I remember his name? Perturabo. I think he's like the most tragic like of the Primarchs in a lot of ways. Like he gets used so badly. And like, he's just so stubborn. I really like Perturabo. Like obviously I love Magnus. Perturabo, Fulgrim's a complete douche magoo. Like, but he just wanted to build a damn gazebo. Who's that? Perturabo. Alright guys, my phone, one sec. Hey Jazz. I'm good, man. How are you? We're just talking about my favorite Primarch. Well, we were talking about my favorite character, and now we're talking about my favorite Primarch. Definitely Magnus. I actually felt bad for Lorgar. Like when you read the way that he gets treated, I kind of feel like he was manipulated in a lot of ways. So I feel bad for Lorgar. The real Fulgrim, same thing. It's all Tarvitz, yeah. I think see, Karn is, you know what I like about Karn in the Heresy is that he's like normal-ish, and he like realizes that like his legion is completely gone insane, and like Angron is completely insane. Like he kind of like comes to terms with it, and he still kind of manages to like be somewhat human, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. I do really like oh, you know who I really like? Actually, John Grammaticus. I really like that whole storyline with John Grammaticus and what's his name? Who's the other perpetual? Oh, I can't. Pearson, called Alinius or something. Pearson or whatever. I really like John Grammaticus because he's just got such a like fucking like fucked up like storyline, and like he's just like forced to do so much fucked up shit. And if you read, I think it's the latest Siege of Terra, they follow that storyline, and you learn a lot more about like the Perpetuals and kind of their role in the greater thing. I really like the Perpetual storyline because I feel like it fills in a lot of backstory on like some important 40k stuff. I don't know, what do you guys think of the Perpetuals and like their storyline? Yeah, exactly. Because you can't really have like, I don't know, the Emperor. I feel like it's one of those things where like you have to use him so sparingly, and so it's a good way to like, I don't know, fill in a lot of, just as you said, fill in some of that backstory. I really enjoyed. I don't know if you guys read Sons of the Selenar. Like it was like a Siege of Terra novella, but it follows. You learn about like the Selenar. And like I thought that whole like thread was really cool about like how the Emperor kind of like early Earth, like creating the Thunder Warriors and creating the Marines, like how he kind of I like, oh, I thought James for a second, I thought you said I'm like John Grammaticus. I'm like, oh wow, you're also immortal? That's cool. I really like the Cabal storyline. I mean, the only thing I don't like about it, to be honest, is the whole Alpha Legion reason for like going rogue being from the Cabal. I feel like that's like a little bit shaky, right? Like I get it, but it's a little shaky. I have listened to that. Thank you. The whole like, yeah, the whole Legion went rogue because of the Cabal. I feel like that's a little bit, I don't know. I don't know if a true Primarch would really listen to a bunch of Xenos sayers, but like, how's that? Some cleanup. Yeah, I would love it if, Arthur, I agree with you. I would love it if like, just like they did with the AOS or with Fantasy, like they do like a big world-ending kind of event. I know they tried to kind of do that with like the Imperium Secundus and all that shit. But that storyline really hasn't gone anywhere. It doesn't feel like anything's really different because it's been so long since that happened. So I'd love it if they did something like that where there was like a global campaign. The Emperor kind of dies, he gets reborn, and like maybe Chaos wins. Like it would be really cool. So here's the storyline: Chaos breaks through to Terra. They freaking kill the Emperor on the throne, and that actually is a good thing. And it ends up rebirthing him, and like that rebirth basically ends up leading. Even though like Terra is maybe fallen or Terra is like ravaged, the Emperor being back, like he retakes it. And then they start like a new like Great Crusade or something, or new Golden Age of the Imperium, or not necessarily Golden Age because the Emperor is like fucked and he's like a crazy xenophobe. But it'd be really cool to have like a very big storyline like that. I don't think they'd ever do it, but it would be cool. What do you guys think of that? Would you guys ever want to see something like that? Like Emperor Reborn? Or is that too out there? Oh, 1 second, guys. No, this, I mean, it's Finecast now. This is a pewter one. This is straight pewter, my friend. From, it's like, I mean, if you order it now, it's Finecast, but this one's, pewter. From, I think I've had it for like, almost like 18 years. 1 sec, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Yeah, well, that's why I think James. So I think I really wish they would kind of pick up and finish the Ynnari like timeline or thread. They kind of like ditched that. Like if the god was actually born, that would be cool. Rather than them kind of just abandoning that whole storyline. Void Dragon's with another Satan though, isn't he? He's not anything special when it comes to like... Am I right or am I wrong? Wasn't the Void Dragon just another Satan? Let's see. We're blocking on YouTube. Get a lot of Russian bots. Yeah, that'd be cool. I really want to see like at least one more Loyalist Primark come back first. Like my pick, if I had to pick, would be I'd like to see Lehman Russ come back because they've hinted at it quite a bit. And him to kind of come back as like basically like a Wolfen version. Like he's been in the Eye of Terror. He's all like half werewolf, almost corrupted. Right? I think that'd be really cool. I really don't want to see I really don't want to see hey man, Leo Crusher, what's going on? I really don't want to see what's his face? The Dark Angels guy, come on, Lionel Johnson. He's just so boring, and like, you know, it's gonna be, like, just him fighting Gilliman. Yeah, I would love to see a Wolfen style Lehman Russ come back. Like, I'd love to see, Vulcan come back just because he's like my favorite Primarch because he's like the least psychotic of them in that sense, and he's not boring ass like Gilliman. I definitely don't want them to try to bring back any dead Primarchs in any way. That'd be really lame if like they just brought back I don't know. They could bring back a lot of them. I think I'm gonna leave the blade for now, and I'll come back to it. It's not perfect, and I don't love it, but kind of I think as good as it's gonna get right now. Sometimes I get impatient. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many good options. I just don't want them to bring back like even Rogel Dorn. Like if you read I don't know which Horse Heresy novel it is, but they kind of retcon whether he dies or not. I'm pretty sure they retconned his death, where it's not like clear, like they never had the body. They only really found his hand, right? But Rogel Dorn is super lame. He's like the least exciting person they could bring back. Yeah, Fulgrim, I mean, look, the thing with the Chaos Primarchs is like they can come back at any time pretty easily because of the fact that like they're all alive except 2. So for me, it's not a question of like if, it's a question of when. Whereas the Loyalist ones, it's not really clear. Obviously, I don't want them to drop a Primarch every week. But it'd be cool if like we got more than we're getting right now. As far as like, yeah, as far as Primarchs. I'd like to see Fulgrim before Angron though. Angron just feels like he's because he's so one-dimensional. Like I don't know what he adds to like the overall narrative. Right? He almost reminds me of an orc in a lot of ways. Because he's just gonna come in and he's just gonna be like, yo, what's up? Just kill everything. Like not even be able to talk to him. He's not gonna have like any like dialogue or like taunt or like strategy. He's just gonna be like full on like murder mode, and I think that's kind of boring. I prefer to have like a bad Primarch that comes back that like there's actually like, hey, here's so and so Primarch, and he's like, you know, he's having conversations with so and so, you know. I'd go Korax to come back purely because I like the Ravens. Yeah, Korax is okay. He's a bit emo though. See here. And these old metal models feel good. The only problem with metal though, they chip so easily. Like you gotta just bathe them in primer. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. Get it focused as possible. A little bit of higher quality. Change this to what? Slightly brighter. To it's I've just been messing with my Twitch settings lately and my OBS settings, and it's like, I feel like, I don't know why, but I can't get the, like, get out of here, YouTube Russian bots. All right, let's see here. What else? I started watching Ozark. I don't know if you guys watch Ozark, but it's back. That was okay. I'm glad it's actually ending though. You know, you have those shows that like you enjoy, but like you're like, okay, this has gone on a little bit too long. So this is the final season, which is good. But yeah, it's back for those of you that don't watch. I think I'm gonna watch Demon Slayer next, as far as anime. I heard that was really good. I was getting suggestions in the chat yesterday for what I should watch. See here. That's gonna be light blue. All the straps and stuff on his hand. All right, so let's talk chapter approved. So I guess I said I'd talk chapter approved, which I haven't really, but chapter approved changes. So a few big changes, and I think there's some more changes that we haven't seen yet that'll probably come out tonight. Just a reminder, guys, because the book goes on pre-order tomorrow, the embargo for reviews and like actual full page-to-page reviews is like I think midnight tonight. So if you guys are interested in like checking out, like actual like content creators, who I'm not, people that get free shit from GW, reviewing the book, make sure to just check those videos out. I guess just based on like what I've seen so far, I'm pretty happy with the changes. I mean, from the army building changes, I do like them. I'm torn on them, to be honest, because I think that change, so specifically for those of you that are not aware, they updated the way that armies are built, in which you can't mix sub-factions within a single army. So for instance, in my Thousand Suns list, I used to take Cult of Duplicity and Cult of Time, detachment of each. You can't do that anymore. So you have to be monofaction. So I think in a lot of, it is a good change in the sense that like, I think it simplifies army creation. What I don't like about it is I think it hurts some books way more than others. So like, well, look, I disagree, Jazz. I don't think it reduces arguments because like the argument, like, I don't know what the arguments were about. For sure, though, it sucks. It does reduce confusion. So now if I have one army, it's all the same. And Leo Crusher, I agree with you that it makes balance easier, right? But does it make the game better? In some senses, yes. In some senses, no. And I guess my thoughts about it, and this is kind of like, and I'll try not to rant too much, but I have a very long rant about this, and I'm sure I'll get into longer conversations about it with other people. But right now, building an army in 40k is actually one of the most complicated parts of the game outside of the core rules. So like there's the core rules, which is like the 4 pages or 7 pages, whatever the fuck they said they are. But actually building an army, so like picking a battalion, picking your keyword, picking your warlord, putting in the separate units, picking another detachment, figuring out how much CP you have, figuring out what your what stratagems are you're in access or not, whether your army's battle forged or not, putting in other mixed armies. Like there's this whole exactly. There's this whole ecosystem of rules that are basically supporting the army building. If you took all the rules that concern army building, there's a lot of really bad rules in there that are like super complex unnecessarily. I would much rather the game be like, pick your game size. There's like set force org charts. So like, let's say For 2,000 points, it's battalion. For 1,000 points, it's patrol. You just have one detachment, right? And then you pick, you build one army, with one detachment. The multiple detachment things, I think, look, I understand it. I've built armies, like complicated chaos armies. But for a new player and for like in general, it causes a lot of confusion, and it causes a lot of people that like don't understand, like break the rules accidentally. At the same time, it creates situations where things get abused, right? Like 6 planes or like all these rules that had to get introduced was because of all the multiple detachments, like rule of 3 or airplanes being limited or all these kinds of things. Now for Drukhari and like there's certain armies you could make special detachments that were like, hey, instead of the battalion, you have this special detachment or whatever. But like trying to explain to a new player, so I'll give you guys an example. I used to play a mixed chaos list where the single keyword that combined it was like Nurgle, right? So I would have a Nurgle, I wouldn't have a demon detachment or a Death Guard detachment. I would have a Nurgle detachment, which is things with the Nurgle keyword put together in a patrol. Nostalgia, I'll get to your question in a sec. So I have a Nurgle detachment. Almost no new player understands that I could take Nurgle units from one book, Nurgle units from another book, put them together in a detachment, and that detachment loses stratagems, loses certain things, but has other things, and that's a legal detachment. Like that is not that's not intuitive at all. It doesn't tell you that anywhere. You have to like take a bunch of different rules and like extrapolate that that's something you're allowed to do. And the list of those things like that when it comes to army building is long. There's a lot of those weird kind of like idiosyncrasies of the army building that are like not explicit, but they're like you have to like literally like put together all these different rules, and then the sum of them is greater than each part, right? Like what you're allowed to do. So I just think the army building system in general needs streamlining and needs to be way simpler. Let me just see here. I got some questions. Yeah, Andrew, I agree with you. That is weird. Nostalgia Addict. Nick, I'll come back to your comment in a sec. Nostalgia, it's not a problem for me. So here's the thing. First, you don't have to buy whole ranges of paints. I have the whole range of Pro because I love Pro. I also have scale 75, but I have like 20 scale 75 paints. I have GW, which I use a lot. I don't have the whole range of Games Workshop paints. I have some Army Painter paints. I have some Vallejo paints. I think the key thing, and this is what I would recommend, is like, and here's like a bigger, I guess, point about paints in general. Understand that different companies have different strengths in their ranges. So for instance, Games Workshop has really good washes. Scale 75 has really good metallics. Pro Acryl has really good like base colors. Games Workshop Chimera has really strong pigment. Army Painter has good washes as well. Games Workshop has really good range. There's certain colors in Games Workshop I would never touch. Like if you've ever looked at Korax White, the white paint in Games Workshop, I would never touch it in a million years. Pro Acryl has an excellent white, so I use their white. If I'm talking about yellow, Games Workshop has a really good range of yellows, so I might use those. So instead of thinking you have to buy a whole range here and there, just pick up the specific colors in the range that you find are good. And what you'll find is that certain ranges of paints, like the scale 75s, their metallics is my favorite part, but I barely use any of their other paints. I just have their metallics basically, and I have a few of their other paints. So don't feel like you have to buy the whole range. Mix and match your paint brands, figure out which paints in which range are good, and just use those paints in that range. And then you'll end up like me, where you have, I'm looking at it, I have 7 different brands of paints, and depending on what I'm painting, I might use a green from this range and a blue from this range and a yellow from this range, because the green is really strong there and the blue is really strong, etc. So that's what I would recommend doing. Yeah, Korax White is awful. Nick, okay, so to your point, I think I disagree with you, because I don't think that so Nick is saying that they reduce complexity, the meta depths in a negative way. Here's the thing. The solution to that is more internal balance in the books, right? And less external. I actually think the opposite right now. So one of the problems with the game right now is, and this will happen with any game, no matter how complex or simple the army building system is, everyone will gravitate toward the best of the best. So if you look at any Grey Knights list right now, they're all the same, right? All them have 4 Nemesis Dread Knights. That's kind of just like ubiquitous to Grey Knights now. And no one's turning around and saying, oh, like it's the army building system. The problem is that the internal balance of the book is bad, and so everyone gravitates to the same units within a book. So in order for me to have more variety of lists, the solution isn't to make the army building process complex. The solution for me is to have better internal balance in the books, so that there's multiple ways to play the same army that are interesting and valid. And right now that doesn't exist. If you look at almost every, well, of course not, man, but like, Nick, we can't operate on a model that the game is always going to be broken, and we just have to leave it to the players to like have agency to, like. But here's the thing, even right now players are all gravitating toward a certain thing, so it's not like all of a sudden, like, even if nothing changes, the problem that you're saying, which is everyone has similar lists, already exists. It exists right now. Orc lists are all the same, Drukhari lists were all the same, and now the Prophets of Flesh has been a bit more dominant. The Sisters lists are similar. All these lists end up kind of ending up in one spot, right? Which is where the tournament players play. I think if they made better internal balance in the books, you could have more builds that were viable to play the game. And I don't trust GW either, but like we have GW. That's what we're stuck with. So it's not much use in being like, well, we don't trust them, so just leave it to the players. At that point, we might as well just be playing open play and let players come up with their own balance system, right? Yeah, Sparkap, don't ever use Corax White. It's like literally the worst GW paint. All the white paints from GW are freaking awful. I just don't buy the idea that like the players are gonna somehow come up with like, unless we have an open source rule system, GW is always gonna have bad rules. The question is like, what's the best version of that, right? Yeah, again, that's the thing. There's no perfect system. There's better systems though, and what I would argue is, and I've said this 1,000 times, I said it on yesterday's cast, I say it from Rooftop, what we need is digital rules, especially points, fully digital rules, a digital distribution system, and then a very easy and intuitive way to and then have those rules freely distributed every 3 months, updated. So there's like patches. Have the fluff books, the codexes, be background art and painting books independent of the rules, and then have all the rules be available online, whether it's through the app or website or a special army building app, whatever. Centrally located, centrally updated, and there's that one. And like, that's what I think. Once you have that system in place, the art of balancing becomes a lot less cumbersome. And what you can start to do is do things like test rules. You can do things like beta rules. You can get feedback on those specific rules, and you can update them if things are out of whack. You can tweak those things, right? That's the only way we're going to get to a better balanced game. Again, it's not going to be perfectly balanced, but it's going to be more balanced and better balanced. The problem is Games Workshop will never do that because, or if they do it, it'll be in 30 years because their model relies on paperback book sales. But if, as you guys just saw with the Custodes, and this is the thing that like infuriates me about it. We got they posted on Warhammer Community today. They're like, oh, here is your Custodes points update, and we're giving it to you for free. It's like, go fuck yourself. Goddamn right you're gonna give it to me for free. In fact, all the points updates and all the rules updates and all the scenario updates should be for free. Like, I bought your army books, so why am I paying for chapter approved points updates? You guys are essentially patching your game and then charging me for it. So the fact that I have to pay, like, if you guys want to keep scenarios and stuff separate, that's fine. But the fact that I have to pay money, and again, I say have to in the sense that, like, you're supposed to. I'm not paying. I'm gonna either have my army battle scribe, or I'll just download the books, whatever. I'm not paying. Like, I refuse to buy into that model. But like, the fact that I have to pay to have my rules basically updated is insulting, right? It's insulting when you guys put out an inferior product, and then in order to fix it, I have to pay. Imagine every time like Microsoft released a patch for Windows, you had to pay. Oh, Nick, I agree with you. I don't think it does, but I think they like to make, I think there's certain people in certain departments that like to make it feel like it does, or that it is. You know what I'm saying? Why am I having to pay for an update to the thing that is I bought when it's clearly like not working, right? Like it's so crazy. So when they're like, oh, here's your free update for the custodes, it's like, first of all, the book's not even out, or I guess it just came out. So it's the fact that there's day one DLC and patches, it's like actually crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's insulting. What about boomers? Yeah, anyways. I mean, until and here's okay. I don't want to get into the rant, guys, because I've talked about this so many times. I'll just say it one time quickly. If I was them, I would take your Warhammer Plus subscription. I would go full digital with all the rules. I would make the rules like bundle / like service that kind of pairs with Warhammer Plus. It could be like an extra charge. It could be like a premium service or whatever. Or it could be a standalone thing for like $7 a month. Gives you access to all the army books, all the rules, everything digitally, and they're fully updated all the time. So now you've just turned the entire rule ecosystem into a digital subscription service. And that's what I would do. And then I would say, okay, off to the races. If people want to play Warhammer, they have to subscribe, right? They can download the rules, obviously, and just have them unupdated. But for like the most up-to-date rules, they subscribe to Warhammer Plus rule service, and you get like, you know, you get fully updated rules. I would pay for that, and I'd never have to buy a codex again. Yeah, Nat, I agree with you, but the problem is I think they're trying to take it seriously. Like, I think they're trying to take it more seriously, especially with things like Mike and stuff, like what Mike's been doing. But yeah, man, that's the other thing. Like, why aren't the audiobooks on Warhammer Plus? If I could get like an Audible style subscription to the audiobooks, I would have subscribed before. You know what I'm saying? It's just infuriating that, like, I feel like the answer is so simple and they just refuse to do it. And like, from a quality of life and like player satisfaction perspective, it'd be huge, you know? But, you know, it is what it is. It's like, it's kind of why I'm like I'm kind of like jaded on playing right now, because I kind of want and I know this will never happen, but like, I'm just so tired of this like constant treadmill of rules and updates and everything like that. Like, it's never been this bad. It's almost like, be careful what you wish for. Like, we wanted more rules updates, but it was like not like this, you know? Like, this is not what I imagined when I was like, I want up-to-date rules. It's like yeah, I agree, James. And like the app should also be available on PC. Like I should be able to build an army on my computer, because I don't know about you guys, maybe I am a boomer. I don't like using my phone for like productivity stuff. Like I use it to phone and text and obviously browse the internet. But like I don't like to like, I barely like to even write emails. Like I'll write quick email responses sometimes if it's like super urgent. I don't like sitting on my phone and like playing games or like doing like sitting there trying to build army lists like this big. I like to sit there, relax, drink in my hand, and do it on my computer where there's like big screens and I can like view everything and like quickly do it. Sitting on my phone, it's not only is it like using my phone annoying, but the process is annoying. It's like super like it's just like frustrating experience. Like clicking on this, okay, did I click? Okay, now I gotta go back. It's like a lot of repetitive stuff, right? Compared to like how fast I can put together 15 units in like Battlescribe, it's just like, and it's like inexcusable the experience I get. Yeah, that's also true. I haven't really used the AOS one, but I hear it's like pretty slick. So I'm just going in right now, guys, with some like shade color, and I'm just kind of painting into the shades, almost like under shading. If you're wondering what I'm doing. Fixing any corrections too where there's been like overspill. Oh, James, man, you nailed it, bro. I'm telling you. Imagine that, like you build your army in like on your PC, and then with one click of a button you can purchase everything. You can purchase units. Takes you straight to the store. That'd be unbelievable. One sec, guys. I'll be back in one sec. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna base coat the blue. Or I guess, I don't know, Sotek green. It's more like a green than a blue, right? Anyways, that's kind of my chapter proof changes. But I do think they're good overall for the game. We'll see kind of how the meta adapts. My only issue with it, and this is again, it goes to like a larger like point, which is they could have like beta rules these changes and given us chance to like give feedback, right? At some point. And I just wish they're more like open about these kinds of changes, because like I think we all think that it's going to be good for the game, but like we don't really know, right? Like how it's going to affect the game. And I'm concerned with like the points changes going at the same time, that it's like untested. I don't know if anyone else thinks that they're gonna be untested, but my gut is like they didn't test these rules a lot. Renegade, I'm not sure, to be honest. I just made it up, these colors. This is like the final model I was supposed to look. I don't really know anything about Eldar or their craft worlds. So if this is an existing craft world, cool. But I wouldn't have known that unless you told me. I've never even heard of the craft world, My Mira. I've never owned an Eldar Codex in my life, so I'm not really sure what the craft worlds are. Well, I know like the main ones, but I don't know like the little ones. Okay, well, it's my own custom craft world that I can play as any craft world I want because I'm a power gamer. That's what we do. Where they found the Shadow Specters? What do you mean found them? Did they not always have Shadow Specters? Yeah, James, I am. This is the start of my Eldar army. I'm excited for the new stuff, so I decided to do an Eldar because I've never painted Eldar, and I don't really have any armies right now that I want to play. So Alpha is a forge roll. It's part of a campaign. Okay, that's cool. Well, I'll probably just make up my own craft world, to be honest, and call it craft world Jimbo Slice. Whatever gives me better rolls, you know? They found and revived a Phoenix Lord. Which Phoenix Lord came with it? I'm just gonna get another drink, guys. I'll be back. Yeah, of course I do. That's not why I'm playing them, James, though, because I've always wanted to collect them, and I just I've been too entrenched in chaos. So now that I have no real armies, they're gonna be a good time, and they're getting new range. Also, one of the things that stopped me from playing them is just because their range was too old. I didn't want to use third party, so do you think we're gonna get plastic shadow specters at any point, guys? Oh, this is interesting. This is a cucumber lemon vodka water. I do need to get some I do need to get some transfers though, because I might do some freehand, but I feel like painting over transfers is like so much easier. No? Also, I don't even know what the runes look like. I should probably Google it. But I definitely want to do some freehand on like the cloaks and stuff. Yeah, no worries, Nostalgia. Honestly, I find the reason I don't wet blend a lot is because for the level that I usually paint, which is like high table, like, and I don't paint at a low standard by any means, but and I will wet blend on like individual single figures, but I kind of feel like it's just a lot of work for results that I can kind of get with good layering and glazing. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like the effort that goes into like really intensely wet blending is worth, especially on like play models that because I don't really paint competition level, right? I paint models that I want to play with. So for me, glazing and layering produces like as good, if not similar or better results, but it's much faster, and I feel like it's much easier too. It's much simpler. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that I like don't like it or I don't know how to do it. I just, the whole like 2-brush thing, and like you have to kind of work in really small areas when you wet blend. So it's like quite a slow process, especially if you're doing like a lot of surface. But personally, I prefer to just do like layering, really thin layers and glazes. I feel I can get just as good of an effect without over investing like a ton of time. But I mean, yeah, like even this, like this whole cloak, this is all done by brush, right? Like I didn't wet blend anything here. It's all just like layered and glazed, and that's like basically seamless. So I don't necessarily find it super necessary, but it's definitely got a place. You always start with airbrushing your initial base coat. It depends. I mean, nowadays I almost always do it because what I will do often is I will do kind of like a very like almost Zenithal style base coating, where I do like I base coat, but then I kind of base coat in the larger areas with like a brighter paint too. So there's like value there. There's a bit of value there. It's not just a flat base coat, but I'm actually putting in a bit of color value. And then I end up always going back and like glazing in shadows and bringing up highlights and stuff. It just depends on like the model, you know? Like some models lend themselves a lot better to like that style, and some models do not. So it just depends on the model, I guess. if I was, say, doing competition style pieces or level pieces, I'd probably do more wet blending. The other thing though too, and this is kind of like more of a preference, there's something about the reason I really like brush painting, I like to add texture into the model with my brush, and you can't really do that with wet blending. So I like also like often to add a little bit of texture and like roughness into the different parts of the model. And wet blending doesn't lend itself good to that because you're trying to get like really smooth. And it's almost like, I don't know if you guys ever checked out Dave Caldwell stuff. He's one of my like idol painters that I idolize, right? Whose like stuff is like, I love, and I think he's like, I think for me, he's my favorite painter probably. Even though like, I don't think he's like the best painter in the world as far as like raw talent, his style is like my favorite style. Dave Caldwell, I'll link his Instagram in my chat. Oh, so check out his Instagram. He's my favorite painter from a stylistic point of view. He's got amazing saturation. He does a lot of like very like stippling, and like he adds a lot of texture into his painting with his brushwork, and it's something that I want to mimic. So I like that kind of rough. If you look at a lot of his painting, it's almost like it has that like raw brush texture in it, and it's super smooth and super concentrated and high contrast, and that's all done with like brush and like stippling and like very like adding texture in with the process, and that's something that I really like. He's definitely like one of my favorite painters in like the world. And so he's like the style that I would say I most closely try to like not mimic, but like look up to, I guess, because I definitely have my own style. But definitely check out his work if you haven't. It's like some of his stuff is like so sublime. And he doesn't really do a lot of airbrushing or wet blending. It's mostly like stippling and like textured paint and layering and stuff like that. So James, I haven't. I own like 3 contrast paints, and I've kind of used them as like more as like washes or like glazes. Every time I have like a project, I will buy like a contrast, and I'll see if it's like a good like use case. But I haven't really found a good use case for them where I can't achieve the result with like other things, I guess. That makes sense? What do you guys think of Dave's work? Make sure to check out the link I posted. It's pretty cool. Give him a follow if you haven't. What do you, James? Can you tell me like how you use them though? Like, what do you use them for? Are you actually using them the way they're intended, or are you using them as more like glorified washes or like glazes, or like how do you? I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, if you have like white base coats, I think they definitely would work well for flesh. Yeah, that's also a good way. I experimented with because I wanted to do and there's something that I might try, but I'm sure I'll eventually play Chaos again. And I think next time I do them, I want to either do Word Bearers or Alpha Legion. So I'm going to be interested in kind of doing like a red metallic themed army, I guess. And so I'll definitely experiment them to figure out like how to do a proper Alpha Legion scheme, that kind of shimmering that shimmering look, I guess. I have to say, guys, also, no hate. I'm so tired of seeing the like those Alpha Legion armies where it's like half and half. Like I've seen so many of those now that it's like it's so old. Where it's like it was cool the first time, but now I feel like they're popping up everywhere, and like I see so many of them. Those like half and half like loyalists with like the blue teleporting thing. I don't know. I never really like imagined Alpha Legion like that, where like everything is like got stealth shields. For me, Alpha Legion, so I don't really like it as like a concept. Like that's for me is like more almost Raven Guard, where they have like those kinds of things. But like for me, Alpha Legion hasn't been about, it's not about like disguise, it's about infiltration. So it's not like they are dressed up as like the Alpha Legion dudes and they're wearing like outfits that are like Imperial whatever. For me, Alpha Legion has always been like, no, they're literally wearing legit Imperial outfits. They're wearing like Ultramarines armor because they went and they infiltrated and they stole and they repainted their armor as Ultramarines. Like that for me has always been way more Alpha Legion-y than, oh, we just have like personal disguise shields or personal like stealth shields. Yeah, I actually saw a really cool one, Nat, where it was like 3D printed and the resin was clear, and they had done that, but like they had painted like half of it like opaque, and then the part that was like quote unquote stealth was like the clear resin still, and then they had the blue line kind of going, so like you could still see the model, but it was like clear resin. I thought that was kind of clever and cool. Yeah, I want to check out the Army Painter. I heard the Army Painter speed paints, I think they're called, are actually quite good, and from what I've heard, they're better than the contrast. Oh, dude, Andrew, the Trader Marines is like I always loved Dave's work before that, but the Trader Marines like solidified him as like my favorite artist because of the like just like the work he put in each one. They're amazing. He's Australian, I think, too. So I think he's part of the Down Under crew. I'm gonna have a few Aussie followers. Guys, make sure if you're on YouTube, you throw me a follow on Twitch. For some reason, I've lost some followers the last little while. So I'm farther away from the 600, which is my goal. So if you guys are on YouTube, make sure to pop over to Twitch, give me a follow. If you guys are on Twitch, make sure to jump over to YouTube, give me a follow. Let's subscribe. It's absolutely free. Costs you nothing, but makes me really happy and makes me feel motivated and like excited. It's really depressing. Like I have not very many followers on either. Like everyone, and it's really depressing when you like check and it's gone down. So even if you have to make a bunch of sock puppet accounts just to make me feel better, I'm happy to do that, to take them. Double contrast or quarter price. Yeah, that's the other thing too. The speed paints are quite affordable. And I don't know, I've seen like some side-by-sides where like people compare them, and the speed paints do seem like quite nice comparative. Yeah, the problem though, nostalgia, and I think this is like kind of like good and bad. This the problem with the Eldar range is like the Aspect Warriors have such an iconic look. Like if you look at like the Dark Reapers, the new ones, it's hard to like make them too different. I think they're going to be almost exactly the same, except they're just going to be like multi-part and plastic. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't go too far. So I'm curious to see, like obviously we got the Eldar Scout Bikers, which I think are kind of silly, to be honest. The whole point of Scouts is that they're stealth, so for them to be on like grav bikes, it doesn't make much sense to me. But I'm curious to see like what other, if any, new units the army gets. Because if you look at Sisters is a really good example where they kind of did two waves, where like the first wave was like existing stuff just in plastic, and then they did this like second wave where it was like all new units. So I'm curious to see if Eldar get like a two-wave treatment, or if they just get like any new units, or if everything's going to be just kind of like just new old stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What do you think of that? Yeah, new Dark Reapers. Yeah, I agree, Nick. I give him credit for that for sure. I'm just saying, as like someone that paints at like the level that I paint, it hasn't been anything like good for me. But for all the people that like find it handy, I mean, I think speed paint's a great product, right? Like all the D&D groups, or people that are like not really interested in like painting their miniatures like I guess like fully. Mick Nuggernauts, thank you, man. Yeah, I'm curious to see. I think I said this in the stream. I'm really hoping they redo all the Phoenix Lords and not just like some of them, because I really want like a new, like Baharoth, new Azerman. It would have been cool though, to be honest, if you could have like made the Phoenix Lords out of like the kit, like almost like how you can make an Exarch out of like the plastic kit. It'd have been cool if like each of the Aspect Warrior kits included like parts to make like a Phoenix Lord. That would have been really cool. I don't know if they would have ever done that, but when they can sell a $40 clan pack. No, I agree. I hope they get new stuff. Yeah, Mogonra is coming for sure. I'm excited for. The thing I never understood, and this is like, I know it's like comes down to like GW just making like weird marketing decisions. Like, I used to always argue that like it was never about, and a lot of like GW apologists would be like, oh, I'd be like, okay, well, why don't we have plastic Aspect Warriors sooner? And people would be like, oh, because like the molds are really expensive to make, or like some nonsense like that. I'm like, look, it can't be a money thing, because if you look at the amount of like anniversary miniatures, or low limited edition miniatures, or special games day miniatures, special event miniatures that are like super limited, like the Catachin Connell that they make in plastic, or all those like crazy Space Marine lieutenants that they're in plastic, right? Like, you can't turn around and tell me that it's too expensive to make like iconic Phoenix Lords for an army because of the mold, but then I can go and make a model that we're going to give away for free in like White Dwarf, and we're going to make it in plastic. Like, the idea that Games Workshop now is at a point where making plastics for them is probably cheaper than making like resin molds, right? They have all the tooling, they have all the like they're probably much better at the design than they've ever been. And so I don't buy this idea that like we can't produce a kit in plastic because it's got to sell X amount of units, otherwise it's not worth it. Because they totally like eliminate that reasoning when they go and make a Primaris Lieutenant. They go make a Primaris Lieutenant that's only available special edition, and they're only going to be giving them out like to a limited amount of people in plastic. So it's like, how can you tell me that it's too expensive to make in plastic, but then you turn around and you make a super limited edition model in plastic that you're not even really selling or making money off? Like, it doesn't add up. So I don't buy this whole thing of like, oh well, certain models are too expensive to make in plastic. At this point, there's no excuse for them not to do that, right? I'm so glad. I've never owned a single Finecast model. I have that that claim. Yeah, exactly, SparkApp. You think about all these like event exclusive models that are in plastic, and it's like, yo, I just don't buy it. I don't buy that as good reasoning. I think it's the only cool thing I think is really cool, or the coolest thing I think still is that like things like the new like Jagadi Khan for Forge World, like you can tell I think it's called Simon Egan, who's the sculptor. You can tell he still sculpted that old school like green stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like all the Primarks were sculpted old school and green stuff. I still think that's really cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that happening. What I would love them to do, and I don't know if this will ever happen, and here's my like $500 million idea for Games Workshop. Put together an in-house 3D printing team for production and give them the task of taking all of like give them the task of making bits. So like essentially like give them the task of 3D creating CADs of all the old ranges, so everything that is legacy that's out of print anymore, and creating a archive print to order service. So like I could go and say, hey, I want some Tomb Kings models. They don't make them in plastic anymore, and I can go to GW 3D printing and they will have the 3D printed Tomb Kings model. And because it's all digital and made to order, there's no like overheads as far as outside of like once it's produced. But then customers can go and get 3rd edition models, 4th edition models, 5th edition models, old pieces, bits, things that like aren't available anymore through this like 3D printed service, or even just outsourcing that service to another 3D printing company and having it available, say through GW, but essentially having like a 3D printing service for like old bits, shoulder pads, things that like you used to be able to get in pewter and in Finecast, or things that they don't make anymore in plastic, and essentially have them print it for you. Dude, of course they do. They just literally they're doing like made to orders for like old Inquisitors and old things. Of course they do. Don't say that. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, I think that's like a winning idea, right? It would take a little bit of like time to set up, and you could do like a trial run. But can you imagine being able to order like any out of production models through Games Workshop? They would just come to you in like 3D printed resin, and they would all be like perfectly accurate to the original versions. And it wouldn't cost Games Workshop like any more than it already costs, right? Because there's like no real overhead. Yeah, I mean, okay, maybe it's not 100% of the range, but I bet you could put a lot of stuff in that catalog. Like I remember having the old Citadel mail order catalog that was this thick, and you could order bits from it, and that was like the coolest book in the world. So if they had something like that, take everything you can, put it online, digitize it, and then yeah, like if they can reprint 3rd edition freaking Space Marines, bro, they can do it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe they don't have everything, but I bet you they still have quite a bit that they could put in that range. And then ultimately, create like a service around it, right? I think that could be like really successful. And all of a sudden, it's like a whole nother income stream for models. That Fang thing, thanks for subbing, man. Appreciate it. Anyone else has Bezos subs or Prime subs they want to throw me? I'll take them. All right, how are we looking on the robes? Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, Leo Crusher. I think I've talked about it before. When I used to work for GW, I was like notoriously. I was notorious in our store for like ordering so much metal. My current, I have like a bits box that's like probably, I think it weighs about 8 pounds right now. It's almost all pewter. Like this Farseer is pewter because I got it from mail order, pewter. We used to pay, it was about 90 cents. I think it was, I want to say 90 cents a gram, or no, sorry, 9 cents a gram. 9 cents a gram for metal. When I used to work for Games Workshop back in the day. And I would sit there when I worked in retail and the store was slow, and I would like just fill out sheets and sheets of bits. I'd just be sitting through that catalog, like the IKEA catalog, going through, figuring out what bits I wanted, filling them out, and I would fax them off because we used to fax it. That's how old school. We used to fax it off to head office, and then you'd get your box of bits. And like one time I ordered like 1.5 kilos of metal bits, and it was like 6 pages of bits on the sheet, and they like literally called our store, the head office, Games Workshop head office, and they're like, yo, like your staff member ordered like all this shit, like is he gonna use it? Because like the idea was that like you would be using it, you're not just like embezzling bits. He was like, yeah, he'll use it. So I ended up getting like so much bits, man. They will be refreshing the Dire Avengers. For sure, I know that because I've seen, like, I think they've previewed parts of them. So the Dire Avengers, from what I understand, they're either going to be part of the, I think they might be even part of the Guardian kit. I'm not 100% sure. Or there'll be a Eldar upgrade sprue, a plastic one, that will go with the Eldar Guardian kit. I'm pretty sure the Guardians, you can make black Guardians or regular Guardians. I'm not, but yeah, I definitely think Dire Avengers will be getting redone because the don't forget the Guardians are getting redone, right? So you know there's gonna be new Dire Avengers based on those. I assume from what I've seen, the scale seems pretty similar. They don't have the same scale creep as like a lot of the other ranges, so I think you're pretty safe there. I think we're about done with this robe, guys. So what I'm gonna do now, and I think Leo, someone asked me about wet blending. So like, this is why I don't wet blend. So this is all just by hand layers, by brush. What I'm gonna do now though, is I'll make like a little glaze, and this will be like my mid-tone. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of the green mid-tone, which is kind of like my, and the mid-tone is this color here. Where is she? Oh, so I'm using scale 75. This is like my mid-tone, bright jade green. What I'll do now is I'll make like a really thin glaze here, just with some medium and some, yeah, but it doesn't make Dire Avengers, was the question, Sparky. So I'm making a really thin glaze of this, this kind of mid-tone. You can see how thin it is on my hand, like super thin. So now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, and anywhere I feel like the blend, like so right here's a good example, is not that smooth. I'm just gonna take that and I'm just gonna kind of glaze it in on both sides. This mid-tone color, like let's say right here, anywhere I feel like the layering is a little bit abrupt, I'm just gonna kind of glaze it in, really thin. I don't want it to pool at all. I just want it to kind of help tint the color. Like you can barely tell I'm even doing anything, but if you were here in real life, you'd see the kind of difference. Again, super thin. And what this will do is this will help kind of like marry the layers together and really smooths out any like, I guess areas where it's like more abrupt in the layering. And it kind of gets rid of any of your like, I guess, layering lines. It just really creates a nice smooth blend. You guys can see that. So this is kind of like my alternative to like wet blending, which is like layering and glazing. And I find it's much faster. You get a much like similar effect. And I don't have to go through all that effort of like 2 brushes and like working in small areas. I can kind of just do the whole model at once. And I'm going to go back on some areas. Like if it's still not quite blended, I go back a little bit more. Smooth it out. And that basically completely smooths out any like rough areas as far as like my blends are concerned. It's a nice little shine. So I think I might actually go a little bit brighter because this one seems a little bit more yellow, this original. So I might glaze in a bit more yellow. I'll do that right now. So again, just adding a little bit of, and this will just help brighten up the bright points. I'm just glazing in. Super thin paint here. Almost like water. And what this will just do is help brighten everything. And maybe make it a bit more yellow, closer to my test model. And because I'm like I'm just doing this very kind of quick, you can see how quickly I do this. It's almost like I'm not doing it that carefully, I guess. And that's okay. Like that. Kind of hard to tell on camera because the way that the exposure is, it's a little bit washed out. Let me see if I can fix that. Let's see here. So you guys get a better color representation. So that's more daylight. Let's see if I can fix the exposure. No. Yeah, it's hard to tell, guys. But you can see the kind of color now. I guess a little bit better. Color balance a bit better. Fluorescent better. No, that's a weird daylight. There we go. Probably better color representation. Oh. All right, guys. It's been 2 hours. It's 5:02. I'm gonna sign up for today. I will be back on Tuesday next week. Probably working on some. I don't know yet. I'll be working on. So tune in on Tuesday, 5 o'clock PST. The schedule has been posted in the Discord. Make sure to join. Appreciate everyone for all the great chatting today. Had fun, and hope you guys have a great weekend. And I will talk to you